Hi, Union School District, Cohort 3. This is Kate, and I am going to be giving you some updates on some revisions and adjustments we're going to be making to week 3, and then also going to be previewing week 4 for you guys for the Digital Educator course. Okay, so first off, I had a great conversation with Mary Fran last week, and Elizabeth and I have been working actually with your whole Union District team, school district team, and we want to make sure that this course feels doable and manageable. And so in order to make sure that that happens, we're going to be extending the 4 modules that you see on the screen here by an additional week, which means that Module 3, rather than being due this past Sunday, is actually going to be extended till the following Sunday. Those of you that are on track with Module 3, rest assured that you are just fine and all your hard work totally pays off. But if there's some revisions you wanted to make, feel free to do so, because the grading for Module 3 won't actually occur until next week. And then week 4 was already extended as well as week 6. So that's why you're seeing only these 4 modules. Basically, for the remainder of the course, we're going to be extending each week each module by a week. Second thing to note, that we received some information about how the grading was feeling, and in no way, shape, or form do we want anybody to feel like a score of 0 means anything less than it's just not complete yet. It certainly doesn't mean like the hard work that you've done is worthy of no credit. If you remember to the very beginning kickoff meeting, Elizabeth and I made a point that we just want you to know that 3 is passing for the lesson plans. 0 is what you get until you're passing. It's confusing because there's a 1 and 2 in there. So some of the confusion lies on, well, why didn't I get a 1? Why didn't I get a 2? Was my work worth nothing? But it really is just an indicator for us on our side as we grade to see who still needs to submit. And many of you just need to submit student samples. But for that being said, as far as lessons plans go, we are going to just remind you, please, please, please check out the feedback that we're offering you, because a lot of time is being spent on supporting you guys in that way. But from Module 3 onwards, a score of 3 will be earned on lesson plans once your student samples are submitted and once all the revisions have been made. So rather than giving you guys a 0 if you're still waiting for student samples, we're just going to be leaving it blank. And that's just to kind of note some of the feedback we've been getting. Okay. Also, I want to make sure that you know that both Elizabeth and I are very available to meet with you. And one idea that came up was for me to put out a link to a doodle that holds about 50 time slots over the course of the next 2 months for some online office hours. So these are just some days that I've picked out, and they are from 3 to 4 p.m. in 20-minute slots. So just go ahead and snag one of those if you are in need of some one-on-one support, if you want to meet up virtually. I had a great meetup with one of the classmates last week, and so I know it can work, and I really encourage you guys to just reach out. And if you have a question, by all means, throw it up in there. And as far as what to expect after this video, I have graded all of the work that has been resubmitted from weeks 1 and 2. So everybody who's submitted so far is up to date. And your comments and scores on the week 3 work will be in your hands by February 23rd. So that being said, I did revise the schedule, so I want to make sure that I remind you guys to visit the schedule on the home page of our course, which, if you are on your home page, if you just scroll down to the bottom, you'll note that I have added revised schedule, and the purple dates are the ones that have been extended. I also wanted to make sure you guys saw that the deadlines for the discussion are slightly different than the deadlines for the rest of that week. And that's just to ensure that we're continuing to give each other some time to leave each other comments. Okay, let me just see. I think that's all I wanted to say. Oh, there's doodle is going to be right there. So if you've never done a doodle before, you can just go ahead, click on this, and then by looking at all 50 options, you can see the dates and the times that are available. So you just type your name and snag a slot. I think that's good to go. So if you have any questions, just let me know. As far as week 4 goes, we're going to be talking all about data. So we're going to be looking specifically at how data is used in your school site in the discussion. The activity is going to ask you to design a data visualization, which I think a lot of us think of data visualizations, we equate that to an infographic, but just know that we're going to be looking at the difference between those two terms, what's similar and what's slightly different. Your portfolio assignment is going to be to plan a lesson around data analysis. So what's essential to understand here is that the assignment itself is going to be on analyzing data that's coming in through an assessment. So I was making some notes as I was going through here. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like a Google form that has been handed out. There's actually been some of the sample portfolios, which I'm going to point out in a minute, have some really great ideas. Let's see. Yeah, so you're going to be helping students to use data to drive their thinking, maybe reflecting on some class scores that are in there. When I mention the sample portfolios, I want to make sure that I'm highlighting where to get those. So if you are in our course and you click on modules and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see a link to sample portfolios. And sample portfolios is going to be where you're going to see some awesome examples of portfolios that have already been submitted if you just want to cross-reference. So one that stood out to me, I really appreciated, let's see, Linda Rood's example from this. She's a 2nd, 3rd grade teacher, and her lesson plan has the students looking at inferring information from a bar graph on their reading levels as a course, which I thought was brilliant, and it sparked a lot of interesting ideas in my head as to how this might look in the primary or elementary classrooms. And then Megan Ellis's portfolio is a 7th grade assignment. She actually makes note that this is a pretty low tech lesson, but she's having them do some self-evaluation on their own writing and using a rubric that's been given to them, and then kind of collaborate and discuss in partners and pairs what was working on, goals that they've set, and basically looking at their own writing in relationship to some data that's coming out using a rubric. So again, just remember those sample portfolios are there to help you. And then finally in the reflection, in the reflection, you're going to just spend a little bit of time thinking about your relationship with data and how it's changed over the course of the module. And so just a reminder that you absolutely have help along the way with me and Elizabeth. The sample portfolios are there to help you out. The general questions and wonderings, again, I want to make sure you guys are seeing where that is, because there's some good conversations happening on there. So if you go to modules in our course, and under every module that we have, there is general questions and wonderings. And so if you click in there, you're going to see that this is pretty much a discussion board where you guys can have conversations back and forth with each other. And Elizabeth and I chime in when need be. And so there's that. And then additional resources. So if you're in the textbook itself, let me go there really quick. And you hover over this week's module 4, and you slide to the bottom where it says reflection and additional resources. This is a really helpful place that the Alliance has built some, exactly as it says, additional resources. So you're going to see a variety of resources like videos and links, and even this one right here, which I thought was super helpful for this week, which is making good infographics and just giving you some things to think about as you're planning out your activity. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Thanks so much for your patience and flexibility. And just remember that we absolutely have the best intentions at heart, and we can't wait to see each and every one of you succeed. Thanks a lot, guys.